morning. It's Tuesday, July 20th. Thank you for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Dr. Tony Rail Sutherland, and with me is Carolina Linares. Hi, Carolina. How you doing?
So good to see you again, Tony.
And Todd DePlantis is not here today. He's on vacation, a well-deserved vacation, so he will be back, but he's taking a rest right now. Now, today, as you know, is Tasty Tuesday, when we bring one of our favorite local restaurants on to give us a demonstration of one of their favorite dishes. And there's a good one coming up, but we'll keep that for later. And then we also welcome an HCC guest from the Drafting and Design program, and he'll be coming on shortly. But before we do that, we're going to go to Carolina. Carolina, tell us, the viewers, a little bit about how they can find us in social media and some other things.
Absolutely. So we're trying to grow our audience every day. So please follow us on our social media platforms as Houston Community College District. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Twitter. We're live on YouTube. And you can also share this Up to the Minute podcast and keep up with all of our latest episodes as well. I'm also going to remind you that we're going on HCCTV from Monday to Friday from noon to 5 p.m. again.
Well, thank you, Carolina. Well, you will be back very shortly. But first, we got a couple of people to talk to. We're going to, Minh Pham, we're going to come back to you in just a moment. We're looking forward to listening to what you had to tell us. But first, we're going to go to Alex. Welcome to the show, Alex. You are from Brennan. In fact, you are the proprietor of Brennan's of Houston, Alex Brennan-Martin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. You have a long and revered reputation since opening in 1967, joining your sister restaurant, Commander's Palace and Brennan's of New Orleans. It is no wonder Brennan's of Houston has evolved into one of the city's premier destinations for fine dining and true Southern hospitality. Why do you think people want to share their special occasions with you?
Oh, that's a great question. I think over the years, we've become a bit of a tradition here in Houston. And, actually, from time to time, I've said to folks, I feel like I'm just sort of watching Brennan's for Houston. It sort of has built on itself. But I think importantly, we've always been focused, my family has always been focused on Southern hospitality, good old-fashioned Southern hospitality. And and that relates to, we try to create great memories for our guests. It's not something that happens by accident. It's something that we focus on. It's something that we teach. It's something we hire for. And thankfully, our staff, it's innate in so many of the staff that work for us. We have many staff. Well, I have one gentleman who's been with us for more than 45 years now. We have a handful that have been with us more than 30. And several handfuls that have been with us, 20 plus years. So they help more than anything. And of course, our general manager, our longtime sous chef, Jose Arevalo, who's been with us since he came to this country close to 40 years ago now. So it's just a part of who we are. It's built into our culture, and it's something we actively participate in. Helping Houstonians celebrate those special occasions.
It's like a family, bringing them to your home almost, and celebrating like a family to another family.
That's right. That's right. As a matter of fact, one of the best definitions of Southern hospitality I ever heard, my mother, Ella Brennan, said, it's treating your guest as if they were at home, even when you wish they were.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Well, talking about your history and all of that, I know that there are many stories you could tell us, but there was a movie made about Brennan's or at Brennan's. Tell us a little bit about that.
The Terms of Endearment was filmed with Shirley Nicholson and Jack McLean some years ago. My favorite part about the movie is they drove from River Oaks to Brennan's via the beach in Galveston. You know, it was a lot of reality. We were where the famous oyster scene was filmed when Jack Nicholson's character was, you know, trying to seduce Shirley MacLaine. So that took place here some years ago. We started here in 1967. My family actually started in the bar business in New Orleans right after World War II, 1945. My eldest uncle and my grandfather, who was a retired wooden shipbuilder in New Orleans, an Irishman, bought the old Absent House bar. And that's how we got started. The first Brennan's was across the street on Bourbon Street many years ago, and ultimately moved to the building on Royal Street where it is today. And then we came here in '67. And there's a sort of a funny story I like to tell. It's truly serendipitous. You just don't get to say that word very often, so that's one of the reasons I tell the story.
You want to get to say it. There you go.
There you go. This building was built by John Stott, and the famous architect, Bayou Bend, and so many other homes in Houston. He was being entertained in New Orleans, and this is in the 1920s, long before my family even bought the old Absent House, and fell in love. He had been commissioned to build the first home for the Junior League. Fell in love with it. The story goes he sketched it on a linen napkin, came back and built this lovely old building, which served as the original home for the Junior League for many years, and his offices were actually downstairs. Junior League moved on some years later to some of their different locations, but in the mid-1960s, when my family came to Houston looking for a building, you know, they walked into what is, for all intents and purposes, almost an exact duplicate of Brennan's in New Orleans. And so it was, there it was, and we've been here ever since.
Well, I want you to show us some things, but while you show us this, you're noted for fine dining, classic dining, romantic dining, but then when you think of Brennan's, you also think of brunch. How's that so?
Well, breakfast at Brennan's. There many years ago when my family was just getting started in the restaurant business, a book had come out and it was a play, and it was called Dinner at Antoine's, and it was on Broadway, and it was a book at the time as well. And so they said, well, if you can do Dinner at Antoine's, why not breakfast at Brennan's? And it just sort of started from there. Tourist visitors to New Orleans, you know, really didn't have much outside of waking up and going downstairs to the restaurant in the hotel. And so very quickly, breakfast at Brennan's caught on, and it went from there. And then the concept of, many years later, the concept of adding jazz music to brunch, breakfast and brunch sort of all came together. And so that's sort of how jazz brunch was born. And we've just, you know, a lot of other restaurateurs stay up late at night and then, you know, sleep late in the morning. We have to stay up late and get up early.
Oh, wow. Well, let's see some of this wonderful stuff you're going to make. What are you going to make for us today?
Oh, oftentimes people ask us to make bananas Foster, and I will do that. I will. There we go. We got just a moment ago, we had a little technical glitch. The stoves never work when you want them to. But this is a simple, very, very simple dish that we do. And it's actually based on one of my uncles married a young lady whose family was in the fruit importing business, later became the United Fruit Company. And they were poor and broke and starving young restaurateurs. And they were opening the Central American market to fruit importing. And so if you wanted a boatload of oranges, you had to buy a boatload of bananas. If you wanted a boatload of pineapple, you had to buy a boatload of bananas. Or you get in the picture, they had a lot of bananas. Uh-huh. So he started, they were literally pushing the bananas into the river. And he said, don't throw them away, bring them to the kids down the street and let them use it. So we had lots and lots and lots of bananas. And that's where this dish came from. What I'm doing now is I've just melted a little bit of butter and brown sugar, nothing more complicated than that. Let it come together bring it together a little bit in the pan that we're doing here.
It's looking good.
Well, it's not bad. It's not bad. Add bananas, and we'll saute the bananas in very simply. And all we're really trying to do is warm through the bananas. We're not trying to overcook them, just warm them all the way through. One thing to watch, as you just saw, it's getting a little bit too dark, and I was trying to rush this along, so I've got to remove it from the fire to cool it. But you don't want your flame to be too warm, or you will burn. It's easy to do. You will burn the sugar in spots, and that can leave a little bit of a bitter flavor. If you do, all you do is remove the pan from the fire for just a few moments. So as you can see, the bananas are starting to soften. Rotate them as needed to make sure they cook all the way through. Keep stirring the sugar mixture. You don't want it to, again, it'll bubble, but if it starts to darken, then you'll want to go ahead and lower the flame. All right, now for the show part. And it really isn't a show. It's simply adding rum. Rum was obviously imported also into New Orleans and easily available. Now, when you add the rum, take the pan away from the fire and do it, and then simply bring it back, and that way you can have a controlled burn. Where did I put it?
That is neat.
There we go. Well, and now I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. Good grief. That's an old-timer's disease moment there. And so that is it. Now you will see some versions of it where people will add everything from orange to Grand Marnier to and there is some dispute whether or not banana liqueur is used. This is a purist version. You can add the banana liqueur if you like. To me, it gives a little bit of a false flavor. And if you cook the bananas just enough, they will add the banana flavor to the sauce. It's very, very simple.
Fresh and real.
And then vanilla ice cream. It's as simple as that.
Oh, that sounds so good. I want some now.
Well, certainly Bananas Foster is one of our top sellers here at the restaurant and has been for generations. And I really don't know how many we've sold. I really don't. And simply spoon the sauce over the vanilla ice cream, and you get this fun effect.
I wish we could get a close-up of that. That would be so neat.
Well, I wish you had smell-o-vision because it always smells very, very good.
Yes, smell. I can imagine. Oh, it's coming. Yeah. Oh, man, look at that. That is so wonderful. Yes, thank you very much. There goes my dog.
Dogs like it too.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And you're known throughout the country and everywhere. Media covers you all the time because you're such a wonderful, wonderful restaurant with great history. And we really thank you for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And we'll have a post at the end of our show to give you more information about where his restaurant is and different things like that. But now let us move on to Minh Pham. He is the chair of the Drafting and Design Engineering Technology program at HCC. Welcome to the show, Pham.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me join in and help explain about the department a little bit more.
That's wonderful.
So,
and let's begin by discussing. You said that you joined with Goodwill for a special project. What is that all about?
Oh, great that you brought it in as a first topic. Well, with the COVID pandemic and everything else, people having a hard time, budget, students having a hard time with their budget living and things like that. So we met Goodwill, and they said they have a program to help needed students for a ride to the school, food and clothes, and training with the partnership with ACC to help the student, especially during this area of pandemic right now. So we're working on that. We're waiting on their contract writing and see what's going on with that. But as soon as that kick in, I'm hoping it's kicking soon to help all the students that having problem right now, with the financial aspect of that. And then Goodwill can help them out on that as well.
And you are working on different grants. I understand there's one from, is it Simmons?
Yes, ma'am.
MENS? Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Siemens is number one maybe number one or number two in automation software. So while they're working with our COE on promoting the automation software for our automation program, they also own Solid Edge, which is another top drafting tool that company are using. And we got the grant from them, and it's in the lawyer office right now at ACC. Iron out the NDA, but we get the full free software for all the students. What that means is that now we got every single mechanical and piping software in the industry to support the industry. So anybody need our student service, we now have the tool to train a student to be out there with any software in the city of Houston right now.
So they could do like internships and things like that, right?
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, that brings me to the next topic, which I met at the show. Naylor Industry, they're using Solid Edge. And I asked them, well, we trained a student here. Why can't we send our student over there for your internship? And also learning about what you need as far as training goes, so that way they adapt to your industry right away and you don't have to retrain them. And the gentleman is working with me right now on developing what his needs are. So that way we can fit his need and then we feed the student right into his industry.
That's perfect. It's perfect for the student and perfect for the company.
Yeah, it's a win-win and win for everybody, including the ACC as well. So
absolutely. Now, you do a lot of virtual reality projects, drafting, animation, and all of that. And you get a lot of grants for that. Tell us a little bit about some of those projects.
Yeah, in the I guess I'm old timer. In the old timer, we should design and we throw it out there. You choose to buy, you buy. You don't want to buy, that's your problem. Well, industry doesn't work that way anymore. Nowadays, it requires more of sales pitch, presentation, and things like that. So we work directly with the virtual reality lab. When we do our design, we also included into the training that to teach our students how to do virtual reality. Because a lot of companies that would do virtual reality send out to the customer, get approval, then they agree on a design aspect of that, and then hire a student to do the rest of the detail out of that. So it's a needed aspect of that. Nowadays, as in before, people don't care about that. But today, we have to do a lot more sales pitch.
So they want to see what the product is going to look like and what it's going to do before they actually put a lot of money into it. So is that what the drafting animation is about? Yes, ma'am.
Imagine if you were to buy a house, you wanted to see the virtual reality of what the house looked like. In the case you change your mind, we can change on the computer without wasting material. Whereas before you had to build it out and then they changed and wasting material, wasting time. Well, now they would do everything on virtual reality. And once agreed, then we work on the detail and then build everything out in the detail level as far as, what material need, how much, and so on.
That's so much better. It's less waste, and you know what you got before you get it, instead of going, I wish I had done something different to it, Yeah,
that's right.
Well, I understand that you're working on other grants. What are some of the other grants that you're working on?
Well, I'm working with the ASME, American Mechanical Society Engineering. Every year at that big at the OTC Offshore Oil Technology Conference here in Houston, they're big every year here. A lot of our students in the past work in the piping industry and trying to get in the door is kind of hard. But working with ASME, the ASME organization will help us connect with the industry. We had to volunteer, go out there and give out drink to at the show. They have a golf tournament, and HCC student and I be out there and handing out drink to them, refreshment to them so that they can play their golf. But at the same time, making a connection to industry with top leader, like president of a company or manager who's doing all the hiring and things like that. And that's how we get the connection and get the student into the industry. Because, get a job nowadays, it's all about who you know and, how much contact you have and then referral from one to the other. And that's how networking
is very important, very important. It's so not all what you know, it's who you know too, right?
That's correct. And I'm trying to learn golf so I can be better at that, so I can network as well. But I'm not doing too well in that aspect of that.
I need to learn golf too. Well, tell me what the industry, what is the need for, if a student wants to go into that, how much money do they think they can make? How many jobs are out there for them? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let's start with the job availability right now. With the COVID in, the job availability was hard. But with the price of oil, and I'm sure every one of us know about it now, it's at the $75 barrel now. When they are at 65, they start making money. So when they're at 75, they start hiring. Anything less than that, they're going to let people go. So we need to be ahead of the game and push the student out there. And because it's at $75 right now, which means they're hiring. As a matter of fact, recently I see a few ads out for designer. The next part of your question was, how much money can they make? Well, my previous life, where I was an engineering manager, I'm paying HCC students starting up at $18 an hour. And some of them, after a few years with a lot of experience, I paid them up to $25 and $30 an hour. Some of them can get up to $40 an hour as well, depending on their how many software can they handle and how many jobs can they handle and so on. Because as a designer, you're not only just designing, you're also a project manager, because you got to keep track of the budget and you got to keep track of the amount of time you spend on it. You cannot be late on delivering a product, because there's 100 people out there on the field waiting on that job. And if you're late, I got hundreds of people out there getting paid and not doing anything. So
real quick, is it mostly contract work, or is it like full-time employment? How does that work in this industry?
Mostly full-time job. There's a few jobs that is contract, and young people love to travel. I hate to travel anymore nowadays, but young people love to travel. They pay more and they move you around. For me, I got family and things like that, so moving around was not easy for me. But young people want to explore the world. That's a great opportunity for them to do that. But mostly of our job for our students is actually in town, and also it's a full-time job.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Pham, for being with us. We really appreciate that. This is important for our students to know about, and so they can start a new career.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Pham. He is the chair of the Drafting and Design Engineering Technology Program at HCC. And we will Yes, go ahead.
One more quick one. We are now looking for more female designer, because the industry requires more female design out there to keep the industry as well. So we need to promote female designer for the industry. So that's my one last note. I need to bring it up.
Very good. Everybody, you females out there, you hear that, okay? Okay. Well, thank you very much for being with us. And we'll have more information about that at the end of the show. But now let's go back to Carolina. Carolina, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, Tony. So very quick, we have some announcements. The first is HCC virtual coffee breaks. So grab a cup of coffee with your coworkers and Janet May, Chief of Human Resources Officer, to continue chatting and adapting to our current reality. It will happen Tuesday, July 20, today at 11, so in 30 minutes. And check your emails to register. Just search coffee breaks and you'll get the information.
Okay. And then there's the Disney Drive-In with Student Life. This time it's at Spring Branch, Wednesday, July 21st at 8 p.m. You get to see Disney's Raya and the Last Dragon. I've seen it. It's wonderful. Go check it out.
And Summer Fitness with Rec Sports. So there are 2 events happening virtually. One is Zumba on Zoom at 6 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays, and a boot camp at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So for more information, you can go to sports@hccs.edu.
And free haircuts, yay, are back. If you need a trim or more, free haircuts are offered to staff and students on Wednesdays at HCC Central. Just go to the J.B. Whiteley building and take your ID card and you can get a free haircut.
Now, the fall enrollment is open. We have 5 options. You can find online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid lab, hybrid course, and the last new one, in-person class. So summer classes have already begun, but we'll continue in the fall. For registration, you can go to hccs.edu/now.
And do it now. Don't wait. And just real quick, we also have work study job fairs for everyone from 10 to 2, Wednesday, July 28th at HCC Central. And HCCTV is looking for some positions. Carolina is one of our hosts for a show we do, HCCTV Student Lounge. And so if you get chosen, you can maybe help her out there too. Now, tomorrow is gaming day. Can't wait for that. We'll have a local gaming studio here from Sugarland called A Rush. Interesting. Looking forward to seeing what that's all about.
And later this week, we will visit with Rothko Chapel for our virtual family fun day as well.
Very good. So that's about it for today. Thank you all for joining us. We love having you here, and stay with us to see us next time on Up to the Minute.